Namaste. It is 3:40 a.m. and this is the time that I usually am up because, I've always been a little bit of an insomniac. All my life, I actually enjoy the night a lot, like most witches probably do. I just feel very like in the flow when it's nighttime, and I feel very creative at nights and very esoteric. But lately, it's been very increasingly that even if I get some sleep, let's say around 12, 10, I would wake up at 3 or 5 a.m. And so I decided to, do this video while I'm here awake and wondering about the cosmos and just asking questions about life to myself. So one topic in particular that I've been thinking a lot has been cosmic clowns and mystics. But I already made a video about mystics, although I feel the subject is so just vast and major and large that you could do like millions of videos about that. But I got some good points out and I'm satisfied with that. But cosmic clowns is something that I started to think about, when I saw a video about it was by Infinite Waters, the channel. Some of you guys perhaps know him if you watch these types of videos about spirituality and so on. So Infinite Waters had this video about the hidden message behind Joker or something, and immediately the idea of a cosmic clown came to mind, because couple weeks before that it was the first time that the concept or the word, because the concept of a cosmic clown kinda already has been on my mind, but I didn't have like a name for it. So I came across in tarot reading the term cosmic clown, and when I then couple weeks after I came across the Ralph's aka Infinite Waters video about the Joker, and I purposefully did not look that video up because I wanted to first formulate my own thoughts around this subject matter, so I would not be repeating something that he perhaps said. I don't even know what that video was about, but in my head it made me think about the cosmic clown and about other cosmic clowny characters in films and in TV or in our public eye. Perhaps you would consider comedians a little bit as a cosmic clown. And the more I thought about that subject, it kind of opened up even more doors to other thoughts around that area. So, what is a cosmic clown? I think that perhaps the quite simple way of explaining what a cosmic clown is that if you think about our consciousness, our collective consciousness, and our world, Gaia, as a castle, as a great hall of something, the cosmic clown would be sort of the resident jester, the resident clown, the resident comedian, the resident juggler, entertainer, joker, of that, castle. So the castle being your mind, our collective mind, or this world. So, so why is the cosmic clown important? So going back to comedians, for me personally, I've always, ever since I was very young, I just was fascinated about the geniusness and perceptiveness of comedians. And I've always, thought sarcasm to be very powerful, kind of unarming tool. And it's very smart way to observe and look into things. And, because aren't comedians really like, they are observers, they kind of study us and more importantly, like our reactions to things. And, comedians point out things that are ridiculous, things that don't make fucking any sense, but we do them anyway. They sort of like throw the water in our, or squeeze the water, from that brooch that, the OG clowns had, that water flower brooch that squirts water. That really is what like comedians are still doing, more so metaphorically, so I just always find that even like listening to interviews, podcasts, or different shows where comedians talk shop, like comedians in cars, for example, or whatever outlet that comedians just are talking with one another, whether it is a radio program or whatever it is. I just find it always like so stimulating to my third eye. Like it really I always feel like I leave those type of conversations feeling like more awakened, really. And because laughter is such an universal thing, so it's very, very powerful to wrap something sort of around that package and deliver it, because it's very like soft introduction to something that otherwise might be, too much for us to handle. So the laughter really like softens the blow, and we can digest it perhaps more easily, because it's not coming from a hostile place, and so I just find that comedians, cosmic clowns, whether it is in films or just in real life as a comedians, I just feel they play a very important part, and you could even say, let's think about, cosmic clowny type of characters in films, obviously the Joker is the first one that comes to my mind. And to be honest, I just feel like the Joker is very, very, very deep character and very relevant, today. And like a character that, it wouldn't mind us to kind of study a little bit what he is saying. You know, so the Joker, then there would be maybe Willy Wonka from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and I mentioned those two also in my Mystic video. If you want to go and watch that, there's some interesting tea in that Mystic video. I really wish I had like a teacup for that, but oh well. So there's some interesting tea there, because there's something very similar purpose-wise about mystics and this cosmic clown concept that I'm trying to deliver to you, or explain rather. And so cosmic clown characters would be, Joker, Willy Wonka, even Jack Sparrow, from Pirates of the Caribbean, I find quite cosmic clowny. And there's so many others. I'm sure when I, stop recording this, I'm gonna remember like millions of more. And did I say The Mask? I hope you've seen The Mask. Is quite, honestly, that film is actually really deep as well. So, and obviously with comedians, just think of comedians. And if you really think about comedians, like they are quite like mystical, like very mysterious. They are like whistleblowers, and like, because there's something to me always been the way that I perceive like darkness, things that are perhaps a little bit like suppressed within us. I feel like those are actually often much more genuine than just sort of this love and light talk. Because even like I always say, like if you go through, let's say, depression, honestly, that's one of the most genuine experiences into yourself that you probably would ever experience. Not to glorify, depression, because that shit stinks, and let's say it's demanding, but it's very, in a way, genuine, or should I say it brings to the forefront, when you get to the other side, it really brings out like the most genuine aspects of yourself, So but going back to the cosmic clown thing, it's just fun to observe now, because to me it seems that comedy has become sort of cool again. Like it's clearly on the rise. It has been for some time. I feel like I'm not entirely sure when it started, but I know that the likes of like Kevin Hart and Amy Schumer, although she might not be that, popular, I guess, right now, but I'm just saying, like, I feel like that was the time when comedy started, to become kind of cool again. And for me, it's always like, I'm so happy about it, because I have tremendous amount of respect towards comedians, and I just think that we need that right now. But the thing that always sometimes comes to mind when I see something, when I observe something slowly becoming popular, because you can tell when something is about to blow up a little bit before it becomes a thing. Now comedy has been cool and popular now for a while, but it definitely had a resurgence. So in my head I'm always well, but when are they gonna start using this for something? Because whenever a thing becomes cool or mainstream, it's now something to use. There's a lot of power in that. So obviously some forces are gonna want to exploit that, and so on. So again, I just feel with this, I just had to look my pants because I noticed that there's somewhat of a big hole in my pants, and obviously I don't want to expose myself fully, although I want to be transparent, but I have lines here that I don't cross, and my crotch being one of them. So because we have this cancer, and it's insane to me that now we can't even enjoy comedy without being ready to take them down. What this cancel culture really is about is that, because now things are coming to the surface, which is good. The dirt is surfacing up, so we are afraid of our own dirt. So it's very enticing to find flaws from other people, because it makes you think that you're safe as long as you just keep pointing out the unholiness of others. It somehow keeps others from seeing your unholiness, which is unfortunate, but everything comes full circle. Kind of like the body is a little bit self-rejuvenating and self-cleansing, so is our consciousness. So I just feel like this whole thing will die of a natural causes, because we just can't take it at some point, this atmosphere of cancellation that's going on. It is very, oppression is what it is, really. It's very V for Vendetta atmosphere. But, and I also talked about in another video, if I sound awkward when I say the word video, it's because I am, I've been trying to avoid saying the word video. I'm from Finland, and for some reason I cannot pronounce the word video. I just feel like it sounds weird, and I'm trying to always think something else to say, but I just said video, so video it is. You know what I mean. So I did a video previously where I compared YouTube being a little bit of a cosmic clown. So what I meant by that is that, because there's a lot of discussion now about the toxicity of social media, Instagram and YouTube and so on, and different forums like Reddit and whatnot. Now, even when you think about the name YouTube, and you have to understand that nowadays, sort of everything device wise, so let's say it more simpler, like anything sort of electronical that we use as a form of communication now is a hybrid. Like nowadays, how we live, if you put your thoughts and your intentions and your likeness sort of into a device, whether it is Instagram, you're already using your phone, so you basically are sort of a hybrid with your phone, or music, whatever it is, it is a hybrid. Like now it becomes like a third person almost, because it's you, it's the device, and then it's the combination of you and the device, and now that thing kind of takes a life of its own. And this is how thought forms are created. This is how ergogores and tulpas are created. Now if you don't know what perhaps what a tulpa or a ergogore is that in this magical witchy world, let's say you would create a tulpa that is sort of a representation of you. So let's say you want to create a love tulpa. So you would make or buy maybe like a statue of something. It needs to have like a likeness of something. So it needs to sort of like remind something, so let's say you would buy like a statue or make one. And then you would, decorate it to your liking to sort of represent love or how love feels to you. So you kind of give that item a mission, esoteric mission of what you want it to do. And you kind of put your thoughts and ideas and ideals and things, your magic into it. And now it becomes kind of its own thing. This is what witches do when they create sort of their astral, armies and so on. It's a little bit interesting to explain. And an ergogore is the same thing basically, but it's mass created. So there is multiple thoughts put into that thing. Now, take that and apply that to Instagram, to YouTube. So we are kind of constantly now creating these little separated parts of ourselves, sort of these false identities, and all that is really starting to clash. So what I mean when I say that a YouTube is a cosmic clown is that when they say about the toxicity, well, is it the creators? Is it the, viewers who are bullying? Is it the YouTube itself? Is YouTube, the entity YouTube, the problem? Well, the answer, it is my belief that the answer is, or my knowing that the answer is, it's all of us, it's all of the above, because there really is no separation. I just feel like the sentence that, internet, social media is not real life does not apply anymore. It's not true anymore. It is like, it's now like we're living it. like I said, we are sort of infused with it. Think about how much, I saw this great quote about phones, and it basically said that, isn't it amazing how nowadays even a silent phone inhibits conversations that needs to be had. So think about the power of that device. How is it possible that even if, let's say you are in a dinner table with the ones you love, you might be even like overseas in a country that you always wanted to see, and you're there with your loved ones, and you have a phone, but you cannot stop thinking about the phone. It's almost like the phone needs you, like it, and you need it. You kind of feed each other, and that is how a tulpa or an ergogor would work. Is that you give them the assignment, but you have to feed them. So you have to sort of, let's say you've created the love tulpa, you have to talk to it, you have to feed your thoughts to it, or maybe, add new decorations to it or whatever. But it's like the same, because now it's now like the, social media, it's its own entity, and it demands, food, and it's us, like we feed it knowingly and unknowingly. And even like it's even more powerful when it's kind of like disguised, when we don't even know that we are influencing something like that. And that's why I just feel it's so important to start, honestly, for all of us to start taking some responsibility, like really sort of stop trying to look for who's to blame, and sort of see the bigger picture that quite frankly is right in front of you. There's this great episode in South Park where it's about Britney, and in that episode, they are basically creating an ergogor out of Britney. It's like, it's the same with celebrities. It's the same when you put people on a pedestal. You are creating a tulpa. And that might be one of the reasons why these celebrities lose themselves. Like, what does hype mean? This is a question also I've been asking. Like, what is it? Because when they say like you lose yourself, where, or is it that the thought forms of others are now actually penetrating to you, influencing you, and you go, you lose yourself. You get like, you start to malfunction, because it's like it's not you anymore. You lose yourself. And I guess all I'm saying is that let's step into our bravery and understand that, in order for all this love and light, namaste, oneness thing, which is the ultimate truth, is oneness, but in order to connect with those things, and in order to connect with virtues like kindness and, being sincere, authenticity, in order for us to see that in the world overall, means that we truly need to connect to it, within our own selves. So yeah, that's a little, you know, rant about the cosmic clowns. I have a feeling I will go get back to this subject because there's just like new things about this popping into my head, and I honestly feel kind of like all over the place with this. But you know, I will end this video with saying that more sarcasm and less hate. Namaste, oneness.